So many deaths. Why do men commit suicide? When you look at the statistics and whatnot and stuff, men are more likely to commit suicide in the middle age. And believe me, I have witnessed some of this, not suicide, but I've witnessed the sort of middle age crisis, and to be honest, it exists. Men start wondering what did they do of their lives. Sorry about the background noise. What did they do with their lives? What they weren't where they thought they would be. They still feel young, but they can't do what they used to. And so why is women coping better? Well, that's roughly because women tend to talk more. They tend to talk to their parents, they tend to talk to families, other women, friends and whatnot, neighbours. They talk more to more or less other women more than they do probably with their men. Because men just don't understand. Men are some sort of, we're basic. We just somehow get on, but we don't, because that's the right thing to do. Just get on with things, move on to the next project, but we don't stop and ascertain what's actually happening to us mentally at the time. So, and I've often said, this is where psychiatrists come in and they start talking, and I've always said that we should just sit down and sort of accept ourselves and who we are, and once we've done that, once we've talked to ourselves, and we can. Sorry, mate. Why can't it not just stop? Why can't we just, accept the things that we can't change? And women seem to be more accepting of so many different things, and they tend to live longer, surprisingly enough. We may have been built stronger and less complicated body systems, but women tend to live longer than men, stats-wise. And when you look at today's climate, and I'm not talking about weather, I'm just talking about what's happening in the world today. Men are forced into places where they're not used to. 40, 50 odd years ago, it used to be, men in the workplace, women at home, and everything. And there used to be banter, there used to be jokes about the men versus women and everything else, but that seems to be non-cool to make fun of the spouse. When you make fun of women, it seems to be sexist, and when women seem to take the mickey out of men, it seems to be a done thing. So that's the sort of world. We're living in a world now where things like Doctor Who, you have to change a character that's been around for so many years into either a woman or some sort of coloured child or whatnot in order to keep up with the times. Men don't have the same heroes anymore, where our heroes are changing. Ghostbusters changed into women in order so that women have a voice. Star Wars, we can't seem to have Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker be the hero anymore, because we have to get a woman in front, because women are not represented, even though they were in the Star Wars universe and in the Ghostbusters, played by Sigourney Weaver in the originals, and they were really strong characters. And most women, agree with the men that sometimes going in that direction is, you can only go so far. Then they become basically they become the enemy themselves. They become the thing that they're trying to fight against. And I believe in being equal among our sexes, being equal among our race, but we're suffering into a society where businesses and TV programs are trying to educate us, and even though we're already educated, we don't need to be lectured to. So when we live in this society where women are now looked upon to be the thing, and move into a workplace which was dominated more or less like men don't know how to act around it. Gone are the jokes. Gone, we have to watch every word we say in case it doesn't offend, and we're up. And more or less, women now, there's more things of a house husband that sits at home while the woman goes out to work and gets extra pennies. So men just feel inadequate. Men probably feel that they don't contribute that they used to. We've became the sex toy, really, that only gets out and used whenever the woman demands, and that's really all our role. It's been forced upon us at an early age that we're meant to be the provider, that we're meant to be the leader of the family. And I think maybe now we're all slowly waking up to the fact that we aren't, that women just about does everything, and we're only the sperm donor, really. So that, I would say, contributes to a lot of men deciding, seriously, that contributes a lot to men deciding their fate, and says we can't take any much more of this. I mean, what is the answer to stop this? Well, we've also, if you remember, we also have to keep that stiff upper lip. Now, I know the English and the Americans and the other countries out there are more open to their feelings and expression of love, but in Scotland you're not. In Scotland it's like, don't be a sissy. But I do believe in some form, manliness, being a man, you've got to, there's certain things that you're not allowed to do, not allowed to talk about, not allowed to express your feelings to a fellow man, not allowed to talk about worries that you have, because that's unmanly, and it reminds me of a story I once heard where at the beginning of time, there were, say, energies and stuff like that we all were at one point. And we had to go into this sort of cave. One was blue, one was red. You go into the blue, you come out a man, come out of the red, you become a woman. So we're locked into these bodies. I've said many before in my videos. We're locked in these bodies that we just don't know how to control. We don't know how to inhabit, really. Hence we get things like transgender, transvestite, people that, gay and lesbian and whatnot. And so we've got all this stuff happening mentally with ourselves. We're getting pushed upon, our man downstairs, the sexual thing downstairs. A lot of people say that takes control over the man's head, and rightfully it does. But even when it comes to making love, that also becomes stressful, because the man has to perform, has to, keep his pride in place, otherwise he fails, and then he probably fails as a man. So when you put all of this aside, when it comes to sex, when it comes to how you feel about yourself, the only advice I would give to any man out there, apart from just accepting yourself, apart from just acknowledging who you are and all your faults and everything else, talk to people that don't want to listen. Talk to your wife, talk to your mates at work. Who cares if that mate then turns around and thinks you're a knob? Because believe me, if you start talking openly through your heart and everything else, they'll come back and maybe talk about themselves, or talk about subjects that may be worrying them, because they feel that they can talk to you because you are so open-hearted. So take that first step. Be open about yourself, and you could be encouraging others to be open about themselves too. That's my thoughts. Thanks for listening.